2025, in my opinion, right now, this is the year. And I know this has been said many, many, many times before. But in my opinion, my humble opinion, 2025 is the year for disclosure. Everything is about to change. The world will never be the same again.
Non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity.
This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing.
Imagine what we'll do 50,000 years or a million years. Incomprehensible.
Unidentified flying object, saucer shape, bar shape.
That's some science fiction stuff right there.
Hello everybody and welcome to this very impromptu solo episode of the Unidentified Anomalous Podcast. I am Digby Furneaux. Tom's not joining me today because he doesn't know I'm doing this episode, but I thought I would jump on and do a quick video to talk about everything that's been going on recently, because I don't know if you're like me, but we're the 29th of January today, and it feels like we've already lived 6 months of 2025. So much has happened with the inauguration of Donald Trump, whether you like it or not. It is moving the needle in certain directions. And we have now the SALT Foundation that has come out and is backing the Skywatcher initiative with Jake Barber and his team, and hearing everything that's coming out with that. It's a very exciting time to be alive, and it's a very exciting time to be involved with disclosure. And I feel very fortunate that I have met some amazing people that have enabled me to get involved in that in whatever small way that I've managed. But I think we need to take some time to appreciate a few things, and that is, we all thought that disclosure was going to come from a government around the world. And I think we can all see now that that necessarily isn't going to be the case, or not necessarily. And that it's going to come from initiatives like Skywatcher with the backing of the SALT Foundation. Now, for SALT to be involved and to be financing this so heavily, it means that we have a private company now that has the ability to do the research, to do the retrievals, to get the information out there, to get the data. And that's very, very exciting for me. I think we are really going to be pushing forwards over the next coming months, and I'm completely here for it. Jake Barber actually replied to one of my comments yesterday, which was really nice. It's nice to see people that are in the disclosure movement that are taking the time to appreciate people that are following them and spurring them on from the sidelines. I want to talk briefly first about the drones in New Jersey and the comments that came from the White House yesterday saying that everything was approved by the FAA.
After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
That may be the case, and they can give approval, but it doesn't state what these things were. And I've been thinking about it, going, well, what were they then? And if they are NHI or UFOs, UAPs, whichever phrase you want to give them, why is the US government not coming out and telling the people the truth? They're acting like this is a limited incident over New Jersey and other parts of the States, but it wasn't. In fact, it actually started over here, about 30 miles away from where I currently am, at a place called RAF Lakenheath. So that story doesn't really add up. And I know that a lot of you out there were Trump supporters and were expecting him to come out with more truths. And I still think that we are going to get those. But if you look into something and you've just come into office and you're just looking into it, and you go, I'm going to give the people the answers that they want, and then you realise that giving them the answers to the drones was like giving them one small piece of a massive puzzle, and it wouldn't have worked. You can't go, oh, we've discovered that these are NHI or they're alien technology, or we don't know what technology they were, because it just raises too many other questions. Disclosure can't come from a government if they're just going to give you a tidbit of information and then not answer the rest of the questions. So there's no way in hell that they could have actually said anything other than they already have, unless it's part of a bigger plan. I would not jump to too many conclusions right now. I think that there is a movement for disclosure within the government, but we will never get all the information that we want from them. But I would expect there to be some sort of announcement during Trump's term, if not quite soon, about the fact that we are not alone. And whether they try to do that and say that they found some form of microbial life out there in deep space using the James Webb Telescope, or whether they admit that they've found things on Earth that they can't explain, I don't know. But I would suggest that something is coming. Where we are going to get the real answers, though, is from people like the Salk Foundation backing Skywatcher, people like Jake Barber.
So we took all of these individuals that were making these claims, and we said, prove it. You claim that we can summon things in the sky? Prove it to us. We've got the sensors, we've got the team, we've now assembled everyone, and we've asked these folks to show us and actually verify what they're saying.
And I think we should be giving these people a lot of time, a lot of attention, and a lot of support. Because when the Jake Barber interview came out, everybody started talking about the woo aspects of it, and that wasn't comfortable for some people. And some people in this field are definitely the nuts and bolts type of people. They're the type of people that, want to be told that there is a flying disc and there's grey aliens from other planets and they're interacting with Earth and they're all benevolent and it's all wonderful and they're going to share all their technology with us and it's all going to be great. And that may be part of the story, but it is not the entire story. I've had a couple of occasions over the last year where I would say without doubt that I have had a form of abduction. First one was when I was living in Morocco about a year ago. And then I was visited by a being that was definitely had malintent towards me about a month and a half ago. Although that wasn't so much of an alien experience, more of a spiritual experience. And I woke up in the middle of the night to find a figure standing at the end of my bed. And when I screamed out to this figure standing at the end of my bed, instead of the sound coming out of my mouth, it came out of their mouth, and then it flew towards me, flew through my stomach, and it felt like I'd just been kicked by a horse in my stomach. That certainly wasn't sleep paralysis, I can tell you. And an event in Morocco last year, which has left me with tiny circular scars on my leg to this day, which don't tan in the sun, because when you have a deep cut or deep wound, it breaks the tissue to the point where it can never tan again. So I know that these weren't small little scabs or anything like that. So I was left with these marks and pains in my leg after my first abduction experience. And then the night before last, I woke in the middle of the night, paralysed, to see a being to the right of me and a being to the left of me, both of which gave me very different sort of emotional signatures, you could say. One very much gave me the opinion of, don't worry, it's going to be all right, you're going to be fine. And the other one was, all I could feel was malintent coming from them. It was a very difficult experience and a very terrifying experience, which I'm still sort of coming to terms with at the moment. And I'll do a show about it with Tom soon and discuss all the finer details of it, because those things are easier to do, I think, when you're talking with somebody else. But I think we need to realise that there are multiple levels to the phenomenon and that people experience different things. and that we are looking at lots of different species out there doing lots of different things. Some are malevolent, some are benevolent. And I would say at this point, I think I've probably experienced both. But it's only when you sort of start digging into the subject that you see these things happening, or certainly for a lot of people that get really interested in the subject and start digging deeper, start experiencing things. And I think that's got something to do with the fact that your mind is open to it, and your consciousness is out there, interacting on another level with beings that exist on another level. We're definitely, in my opinion, dealing with, non-corporeal beings and physical beings from this universe and beings from other dimensions. And I know that sounds crazy and that's difficult for some people to appreciate, but that is the fact of the matter. And I've had so many comments. I posted my experience. You can see it on my X feed yesterday. I did type up a very short version of what happened to me the other night. And the amount of people in those comments saying that it was sleep paralysis and all this sort of stuff, I can tell you as an experiencer, it's not sleep paralysis, and this gets thrown around so much. You've got to trust people that say that they are experiencers, because they have experienced something out of this world, literally, that you cannot comprehend if you haven't been through it. And that's not me being patronizing at all. That's just the case. It's a very difficult thing to talk about and a difficult thing to remember. One of the interesting things actually about my experience from the other night was afterwards I felt like memories that I had previously that I know to be true had been altered. And these weren't massive details. They were like, all of a sudden I remembered like an old house that looked completely different, or a situation that was completely different. And I know that my original memory was still there because I could draw on it from other experiences. But in other ways, I was remembering it completely different. And I was thinking about that. And I was thinking, why is that the case? Why is that random memory been changed in my head? And I think memories are like threads, I think is the best way to look at it. And if you have a traumatic experience, that traumatic experience could bring back memories of other traumatic experiences. And if you need to wipe the memory of a traumatic experience, you can't just wipe that one thread, because it would lead back to something else. So I think they have to alter or wipe other memories that are attached to it in some way, to complete the wipe, if you see my meaning. And I really think that is what has happened, is the fact that I obviously went through something very traumatic the other night, which I can't remember all the details about. But that traumatic experience linked to other experiences in my past. And so to delete the memory of what they did to me the other night, they also had to alter parts of older memories. And for me, that's sort of actually left as a little mark, a little fingerprint, a little thread for me to follow. And I'll keep exploring that in my mind and seeing what comes of it. But I thought that was a very interesting detail to share. I think 2025 is going to be the year for us people involved in the movement. This is the year that we push the needle, and I would like to say a massive thank you to people like Jake Barber, my very good friend Jason Sands, who is an absolute legend of a man and does far more behind the scenes than anybody realizes. And hopefully one day everybody will realize what a key pivotal part this man has actually been behind the scenes. He's just filmed with Joe Rogan yesterday, which is just absolutely phenomenal. That's the biggest platform on earth. It really is. And for Joe to give time for Jason and Logan as well is absolutely amazing. Jason assures me that he gave me and Tom a big shout out on Joe Rogan, which I can't wait to watch next week. That's I believe Jason said that's coming out at some point next week. So make sure you you head on over there and watch that episode. I'm sure it's going to be worthwhile. I understand it was a 3-hour long episode, so well done for Jason and Logan for going so long. You're a real testament to everybody in the community. Everybody needs to realise what these whistleblowers go through and do for us, because they are doing it for us. They're not doing it for themselves. They've got nothing to gain. In fact, all they've got is stuff to lose. They lose their security clearance, they lose their jobs, some of them lose their families, they lose everything because they believe in the truth so much, and yet they get nothing back from the community in some instances. Some people out there are absolutely amazing, but some people, when they come across information that they don't like or weren't ready to hear, their instinct is to retaliate against the person giving the information. Jason spoke very candidly about a month ago, I think it was, about elements of the program that he was involved, which meant that he had to get his hands dirty and do some wet work. And a lot of people weren't ready to hear that. And instead of questioning Jason and asking more details and looking at it objectively or looking at it from his point of view, they decided to attack him. And I don't think that's fair. And I think they spoke too quickly as well. Now you've got Jason Barber coming out, and in his extended interview with Roscoe Hart, he talks about wet work. So everybody's accepting that now. It's come from Jake Barber, but when it came from Jason Sands, it was too much to hear. So just be aware, I think, is the key takeaway here, that when you are researching, doing your homework, trying to find the truth for yourself, don't just try and look for the truth that you want to find. Don't be your own gatekeeper. Listen to what people have to say and trust them. Trust them, because these people are losing everything for truth and to bring it to you. And we owe them our gratitude and our respect. And we, the people, need to find a way of supporting these people, to encourage more people to come out, to do the right thing. Because at the moment, there isn't a lot of incentive to risk losing everything, like Jason, who hasn't worked for months because of the fact he came out and told his story, his truth. So, very quick episode today, and it is only me, but I just thought that there were a few things that needed to be said, and I think there's a few things that needed to be highlighted. 2025, in my opinion, right now, this is the year. And I know this has been said many, many, many times before, but in my opinion, my humble opinion, 2025 is the year for disclosure. Everything is about to change. The world will never be the same again. And I'm here for every single moment of it. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. And please keep looking up. Take care. Thank you for watching this episode of the Unidentified Anomalous Podcast. If you like what you've seen, then please remember to like the episode, subscribe to the channel, and please leave comments, because it really, really helps. And we always try to get back to as many people as we possibly can. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity.
This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing.
Imagine what we'll do 50,000 years or a million years. Incomprehensible.
Unidentified flying object, saucer shape, bar shape.
That's some science fiction stuff right there.